In recent years, Singapore has been making waves in the sporting arena with medals in swimming, table tennis and bowling. In today's edition of Play Sports, we look at a sport that Singapore used to dominate in the 1980s. Squash, though not as popular as other racket sports like tennis, is still played by many Singaporeans today. At the peak of its popularity in Singapore, we ranked 6th in the world and 2nd in Asia. Since then, the squash community here has shrunk to a smaller group of passionate players and been growing steadily ever since. Phillip is the winner of Thomson Championship 2010 and a finalist in the Singapore Masters 2010. He has been playing this sport for the last 25 years and started coaching over 20 years ago.
More recently in Singapore, I decided to extend the coaching and I started a business called Squash Passion. And the idea is to help people with their squash, teach them from my experience, teach them proper technique, and basically help them to appreciate what a great sport it is.
Well, seeing that even children are taking up squash, I asked Phillip if it is easy to start learning this sport.
I think it's perhaps a bit harder to get into than going to the gym, for example, initially. But what people find is the gym doesn't give them the satisfaction of developing, growing, and have a really interesting, exciting sport to play. And that's what keeps you coming back for more. And the time just flies away when you're playing squash because you're just totally focused on that.
So is this something that most people can afford?
Relative to other sports, I would say it's relatively inexpensive. The equipment is like you have just shorts, t-shirt, some gym shoes. A squash racket would be starting at $60, something like this. If you come to our squash centre like Yio Kang, where we are here now, an off-peak court will be $3 and a peak court $6.
Phillip made it sound rather interesting, so I decided to take a lesson from the master himself and experience squash firsthand. The first thing Phillip taught me is what the red lines in the squash court mark. The most important lines for a player goes around the top. We can't hit outside these lines. We also can't hit underneath the bottom line known as the tin. The rest of the lines only apply for serves. The ball needs to be served above the service line and bounce to the opposite side of the court. When serving, one's whole foot needs to be inside the box. The last person to hit the ball against the wall scores the point. But be careful, the ball cannot hit the lines on the court and can only bounce on the floor once. Then, Phillip showed me the different kinds of squash balls.
These are to denote how bouncy these balls are. The fastest ball, or the most bouncy one, is the blue dot. So it'll bounce even when we haven't been hitting it very much.
The grip of a squash racket is also not the same as that of a badminton or tennis racket.
The index finger extends above and curls around the racket grip there, like that. So you have a gap between the other fingers and the index finger there.
In order to put momentum in every shot played, proper stance is required. The foot closest to the wall should be in front. Lean forward and bend your knees so that you are ready to stretch and hit the ball. Here's a recap of what I've learned so far. Now it's time to put all this into action. Oops! I'm definitely not ready to play a proper game yet. I think I need a little more practice before I can try something like this. As you can see, squash is actually a very interesting game and I actually feel fitter and it's been a nice workout. So I hope to actually improve my techniques the next time that I actually have a lesson with Phillip. The holidays are coming, so if you're interested to give squash a try, do visit the website below to find out more. This is Joan for Spectrum TV.